Episode 28, the claim game. Everything in here did have trade value, but I also wouldn't keep it all, especially after their help. Not to mention knowing I now had an abundance of luxuries that they did not. Yeah, let's do that, I said. Don't get too excited. I'm keeping at least half of it and all the food. You do my cooking anyway. Dave shrugged, sipping his moonshine. We only came to keep you safe anyway, V, Ivan said officially. We all sat around a little awkwardly until I realized they were waiting for me to give directions. So, I guess let's drag all the clothing into the middle and we can look at it all, I suggested. I started flipping through cabinets up front while a few of the guys pulled things from the back. It was a good-sized pile once all was gathered. Dave began holding up items. We played a little game alternating who had the first right of refusal. Well, the second anyway. I had first say. We plowed through a series of concert t-shirts, long-sleeve undershirts, and flannels. I kept about a quarter of them, mostly items I thought I could sew to fit me, maybe a few for Darcy. I also kept a few 4X hoodies. I found myself feeling very lazy about thinking about trades for random clothes. Denny made out with the most. He didn't turn down anything when it came to him, and now had an abundance of Gen X-style shirts. Most of the pants went to Dave, the only one who could fit them. I did keep a few oversized pairs of sweats, though. We went through the man's toiletries, too. There wasn't a lot, but everyone got something useful. Flipping through the other cupboards, we found cards and games, wads of paper, and various tools. I decided I'd go through that later. Some of it had value, but a lot of it was destined for the burn barrel. Dave and Ivan started tooling around, trying to find out what worked and how. They found the shower was rigged to a black water bladder hanging outside around the corner, with a long hose. I got thorough instructions on how to fill it, despite it being pretty easy to figure out. They were concerned about where it drained and were unable to get under the RV to find out more. Ray added that if it had been draining water for years, it could sinkhole at some point. There were fans that turned on to circulate air, which was a nice surprise. He also had a working TV mounted over the table. There were no stations or DVD player, but it did turn on and had a working remote. John was fascinated by the sleeping spaces. He kept a running count of how many it could sleep, checking in with me with each new discovery. The table goes down, and this makes a bed. This will sleep two, he said. The couch folds out for another two. He counted the bunk above the cockpit and was even satisfied believing the front seat reclined enough to be a sleeping spot. I don't think he was planning on filling them with people. I think there's some innate fascination men have with things that transform, especially when a motor is attached. Denny and Jackson had gone outside to tidy up and probably wrestle around some more. Ray and I were more interested in the food. We took stock as we dug through the cupboards and fridge. This guy must have been eating only meat. There's almost no way to eat all this before it spoils, I pointed out. Some of it is losing color already, Ray said, inspecting a steak. Pull all those out and let's take count, I suggested, not quite sure what color he was talking about. He pulled a dozen steaks and set them on the counter. It had been so long since I'd been around a proper steak that I wasn't sure what to do with it. We can grill them and give everyone a small portion, or we can add it to one of our regular meals, he said, studying them. Like throw them in the rice like we do groundhog? I asked. No, he said after a long pause. That is blasphemy, and I won't hear it. I had no idea why. Either I was missing something or he was being dramatic. Noodles, I said suddenly. I remember at an Italian restaurant, we had Alfredo with steak medallions. It had a sauce, tangy and beefy. I think there'll be a full head count again tonight, Ray added. Let's make that box of instant potatoes the kids gave us too. That should be enough between both. I wonder if those kids threw in a gravy packet, I thought aloud. If not, some bouillon and the fat off the steak with flour should do it. We could cook down the bones too, Ray said. This sort of blew my mind. I had no idea how gravy was made. I nodded, trying to look like this was all very reasonable. You have no idea how to make gravy, do you? Ray laughed. So, I know what direction north is, I replied defensively. So do I, he teased. I know how to darn a hole, I shot back. So do I. I know how to drive, I snapped. I know how to drive. Bog doesn't want me driving, he squeaked. I'd won. Would you be all right if I brought some of this moonshine back to share too? I asked. Everyone can have a fun night. Why would that bother me? Ray replied, a little defensive. Just making sure, I shrugged. My attention was pulled back to Dave and Ivan, who had made a new discovery. Take a look at this, girlie, Dave said, holding up a small box. He opened it. Inside were several dozen USB drives, each labeled. Movies, I chirped, my first real sign of excitement. Oh my God, there's a ton. Maybe you'll have us over for a movie night, Dave winked as he put them in the cupboard beside the TV. If there's nothing else we can help you with for now, I think I'm going to head back, Ivan said, poking his head out from behind Dave. I'm going to second that, Dave added. Nah, we'll see you at dinner. Thanks for your help today, I replied. Ray scooped up the food and walked it out. I followed, locking the door behind me. Denny and Jackson were in the yard sparring, and John looked bored. Hey guys, there's really nothing to do if you want to go get some things done. We're going to cook a good dinner in a little bit, I shouted. John got up immediately and grabbed his bags. Jackson stopped fighting and came as well. The guys filed out of the gate waving, and I thanked them again. Denny was the last to reach the gate. He walked up slowly, wiping his forehead. Congratulations, VV. This is amazing. You deserve it, he said. I don't know if I deserve it. I'm feeling overwhelmed, I replied. Why overwhelmed? This is a huge score. He could have lived in another mud hut and had nothing, he said. I just feel like now I don't have an option. I wasn't ready for a change. There's so much to do, and I finally felt at home where I was, I said, trying not to sound ungrateful. He squared up in front of me and spoke sternly. You don't have to decide anything tonight. Or tomorrow. That dick gave you options. He didn't take anything from you. Pick what will make you happy. He smiled. His smile is so genuine, it's disarming. I wondered if he knew the reaction it gave me. Does he use it innocently, or does he enjoy watching me lose my mental balance? Anything more I can do? He asked, leaning in slightly. That damned dimple. I don't think so, I said, forcing myself to flirt. I reached out and patted his arm. He moved closer, smiling more. For a moment, I thought we might kiss. I got scared and pulled him into a hug instead. I'll take these things to my place, then I'll see you in a bit, he said, still holding me against his chest. We stepped out of the gate together. I couldn't help but feel vulnerable. This little key, turning this little lock with so much on the other side. It all felt fleeting, like it could disappear as fast as it came, and I realized I didn't want to lose it. Episode 29, Steak and Moonshine. Back home, Ray was possessive over dinner. He got rigid when I tried to help. He let me grab ingredients and pans for him, but he clearly had a plan he didn't want interrupted. I cleaned up my yard, stacking the bricks neatly along the fence. I made sure the cans now filled with dirt lay in an even stack. The next person would have to finish the wall. I kicked the umbrella pole to knock the sand off it and made sure the rain barrel was centered under the hole in my tarp. I exist in this weird space where my mind hasn't decided what I want to do, yet my body is clearly straightening things up for the next person. I went inside. The bloody clothes were still on the ground, dried stiff into shape. I thought for a second about washing them, then brought them out for the fire. There was still blood on the top blanket too. I wasn't ready to burn that, so I dabbed it clean and hung it on the fence to dry. I cleaned myself up a little. It was silly, but I was really excited about wearing the extra big sweatpants and hoodie. They smelled vaguely like laundry. I giggled as the hoodie dropped down to my knees. I twisted back and forth, letting the extra long sleeves flap one way, then the other. I pulled on the sweats and tightened the drawstring. The fabric pooled at my ankles. I had to hoist them up to walk like a dress. It was like wearing a big blanket. I loved it. I gathered extra dishes. Planned or not, with the steaks and moonshine tonight would be a celebration, and I wanted to be as good a host as possible. I brought the dishes out, then some blankets to make my nest. Only this time I made it big enough for two and a little thicker. How's it coming, Ray? I asked. The potatoes and gravy and the Alfredo are done, he reported like a man reading a checklist. The steaks are resting in salt. I'll grill them when everyone's here. Does everyone know it's a special dinner? I asked. I was just about to start shaking fences, he grinned. But the way people have been pacing and coming in and out, I expect a full crowd anyway. Need any help? No. Just relax. I'll do it. He was visibly proud, and I wasn't about to take that away from him. In total, about 16 came. I took trades and brought them inside, several more bags of cans. Ray mingled and started scooping bowls. He kept the steaks hidden under a plate. I kept the alcohol hidden too, wrapped in a towel beside my nest. Anna dragged out her papasan chair. Carol brought a camping chair and a basket of yarn to knit with and sat to my right. Ed and Em, who lived around the corner, laid out a blanket on the ground. Dave was drunk already. He sat on his cooler to my left, talking at length about how great my new RV was. Suddenly, Jackson sprang to his feet as Denny appeared down the way. He ran up and they embraced in a bro hug, chatted, fist bumped, then walked back toward the fire. By now, most everyone had found a seat. As Denny passed Dave, he slapped his shoulder, which Dave immediately responded to by grabbing Denny's hand and making a kissy face up at him. I giggled as I shifted in my seat, though I didn't need to move at all. Denny leaned down, gave me a one-armed hug around the shoulders, smiled, then dropped down beside me. "Did I miss anything?" he asked. I could smell soap on him. He'd changed clothes again. "No surprises have been announced yet," I said with a wink. Ray did a head count and decided everyone was present. He stood from his seat by the fire. "If I can have everyone's attention," he said, holding the covered plate of steaks. "V has a few surprises for you tonight." Without further ado, he added with a flourish, lifting the top plate and spinning in a circle to reveal the fresh meat. Darcy chirped first, followed by a chorus of mms and commentary. This was a treat. There isn't a ton, but everyone should get a good chunk. Ray said as he lowered the plate and laid the steaks onto the grill screen over the fire. He started filling bowls with noodles, potatoes, and gravy. "I have one more surprise," I yelled over the chatter. "At Marty's house, the dead guy, we also found plenty of this." I held up a water bottle. "It's not water," Jackson shouted instantly. The guys who'd been there laughed and echoed, "Definitely not water." It took about 4 seconds for everyone else to catch on, and then the cheers started. Someone yelled, "It's Moonshine." I think I even heard a Mexican-style "Ah!" I tossed a bottle to roughly every fourth person, took a shot myself, then passed it to Denny. He took a shot and passed it to Dave. They rotated until it was empty. I had several more bottles waiting beside me. The sun was setting now, the sand reflecting a pink glow. This was going to be a damn good night. "This is delicious," Denny said, leaning toward me and pointing his spoon at the potatoes. I took a bite and let the gravy sit on my tongue. It was very good. Garlic powder, not too much salt. All I'd ever had before was packet gravy, which is salty by default. "I have one more surprise," John yelled, standing up. Anna jerked her head up mid-chew. "This one is for V," John said. It fell quiet. My heart stopped. I had no idea what he could possibly have for me. When the murmurs died down, he pulled a parcel of fabric from behind his back and unwound it, holding it up. A t-shirt. Sleeves cut off. One of Marty's concert shirts. White, heavy metal band logo. The one he wore when I shot him. It was still stained with blood. Only now there was a red spray-painted X across the front. And the back. A kill flag.